Hey, Rock Solid Wrestling fans, welcome to another episode of Talk Solid Wrestling. Or maybe it's the first episode. I don't know. We're doing these in batches, so we'll see what order this one ends up in. This episode, I'm joined by a good friend of mine, and I'm not saying that because we're out here supporting each other. I'm saying that because I've known the guy since I was like 12 years old. His name's Mike Walsh, and he's a co-host of the Count It Out with Mike and Tyler podcast, which you can watch right now on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, anywhere that you listen to great podcasts like this one. And we're talking about unconventional favorites. So what is that exactly? Well, this all started because Mike is a wrestling dad. He has a son, Finn, who loves wrestling almost as much as he does, maybe even a little bit more. And he has got some interesting favorites. He definitely loves all the big popular guys that you're thinking of. But he does have a couple of favorites that make you go, not the guy I was expecting you to say. And I feel like most wrestling fans have had one or two of those favorites in their lifetime. So that's what we're going to talk about, amongst other couple of things, like basically wrestling in the media in strange places, like on children's cartoons. A lot of children's cartoons talk in this one. So get ready. It's going to get weird on this episode. We hope you enjoy it. Let's get ready. We got a 20-minute time limit. Let's see what we can get done in that time frame. Okay, Danny, ring the bell. So how great is it being a wrestling dad? Like being able to share wrestling with your son. How cool is it?
This has been the funnest year of my life when it comes to that, because he's finally at that age where it's not me being like, hey, dude, check this out. He's coming to me going, just not an hour ago, he came to me saying, hey, can you show me some Daniel Bryan matches? Because, and his introduction to this stuff is very cool. We watched, I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's the Flintstones, Stone Age SmackDown.
Yes.
I think was the name of it. We watched that the other day, and Daniel Bryan has like a 5-second cameo in it.
Put the glasses up there, or as my wife has now coined it, my wrestling autism was about to come out, which
I love that.
Probably a more appropriate term, to be honest with you.
So what he's been doing lately, this is how he gets into his wrestlers. This is how he decides who he likes. It's not through wrestling matches. He decides if he wants to watch the wrestling matches through these other means. Right now, through the Flintstones, he's interested in Daniel Bryan. One of his favorite wrestlers in the whole world right now is Junkyard Dog. Adam, he's never seen a single JYD match yet. Would you like to know why he loves a Junkyard Dog?
I think I can tell just because I am an avid listener to the show, and I know what you guys have been talking about recently, but please let the folks listening to Talk Solid Wrestling know.
My son's favorite television show in the world right now is Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling.
And that, sir, is why you're a good parent right there. There's the proof.
Man, number one, I forgot how horrible this show is. It's so bad.
I will not allow you to disparage the good name of anything that includes Brad Garrett, sir.
But I'm having so much fun watching it with him. Because he gets so into it, and now he's anybody who's on that show. That's how he grades whether or not you're worth salt like in wrestling. As far as he's concerned, Hillbilly Jim and Nikolai Volkov are better wrestlers than anybody else you've ever seen.
And he's not wrong.
I'm sorry. Was Sting on Rockin' Wrestling? I don't think so. Was Kurt Angle on Rockin' Wrestling? I don't think so. Everybody who was on Rockin' Wrestling, and when he first saw it and saw that Tito, he already liked Tito Santana. So the fact that Tito's on there was just that up Tito's grade. No, it's so fun.
See Slam City. I think he's really going to enjoy that when you get to that phase of his education, if you will.
Yeah. We've done the Flintstones ones. He's watched the Scooby-Doo ones. I don't know if he remembers because he was kind of young when he watched the Scooby-Doo ones. So he'll have to watch that one again. All he remembers of it is Vince McMahon being a bad guy. And I'm like, I don't think that was Scooby-Doo, dude. We were just watching the news.
The narrative doesn't really change throughout, so at least he's gotten used to something with some stability, which is great. Man, that's fantastic. That means eventually, once he gets to Ready to Rumble, you get to go and show him late 90s WCW. That's going to be fantastic.
That's exactly it. If this is how his interest rolls, I'm all for it. This, like, it doesn't have to be, okay, sit down. We're going to sit down and watch WrestleMania 8. You're going to love every minute of it. And I'm going to spend 20 minutes telling you why Roddy Piper versus Bret Hart is one of the greatest matches of all time. It doesn't need to be that. Right now, because of Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling, he already knows that Roddy Piper is the greatest villain in history.
I would argue that if you have to explain why Roddy Piper versus Bret Hart at WrestleMania 8 is a good match for any length of time to somebody, they're just not getting it. So
exactly,
that would be my argument regarding that.
The funny thing is, I keep showing him, because he'll ask me, he's like, "Can you show me this guy? Can you show me this guy?" People he's seen in the cartoon. I waited for him to say, "Can I see the fabulous Moolah?" Because that's the one character that just does not translate. She doesn't look like her. She doesn't sound like her. She's nothing like Moolah whatsoever. So when I finally showed him Moolah, he's like, "Oh, now can I see the real Moolah?"
It's still real to him, damn it.
It's great. We on the latest episode of the show, we talked about what it would look like if they remade that today, and I'm putting that in the universe, man. I hope somebody hears that and goes with it. How fun it would have been! Even more fun when they still had the network and all. But how fun for a Netflix show, Cody Rhodes Rock and Wrestling. Do it, man. That'd be so fun. And I know they've done like Camp WWE. That was fun and stuff like that. But an actual Camp WWE, if I remember properly, was not exactly garnered to kids.
No, it was from the Robot Chicken Crew, so you could tell that's the kind of humor they were going for. Your kind of humor.
Where this, I'd like another show garnered to that kind of child, which is funny because if I look back, I was his age in 1986. So that it kind of tracks, right? I like that he's getting into the same stuff that I was in at that age.
Oh, sure. That must be incredible. And so strange, but there really is the proof in the pudding of how mainstream media exposure to professional wrestling can work, because here we have your son who is only getting into characters that are featured on those main shows. For the most part. Do you want to tell everybody listening who your son's favorite wrestler is right now?
I mean, it changes from day to day. His all-time favorite wrestler is John Cena.
Sure, of course.
His other one is Hulk Hogan.
Yes.
But thank you to the magic of video games, Mr. Hughes has become a staple in our household, and we have gone and watched Mr. Hughes matches. Unfortunately, and he said straight out he's better in the game. But Retromania, we love playing Retromania together. It's one of our favorite things to do, which is insane to me. The mind of a child never ceases to amaze me, because I don't find Retromania a very easy game to grasp, very much like Fire Pro. It's not a button masher. You have to be good at it to be good at it. So it took me a long time to figure out the controls and do it. Not my kid, man. Grabs it, boom, beats me first match. Then I see him. He goes on the what's it called? The 10 pounds of gold, and he wins his first 8 matches in a row. I'm like, the mind of a child, man. It's I don't know if we overthink things now, and we make things harder than they have to be. But a kid sees how simple something can be and just does it. It's kind of amazing.
It's a kid thing. I used to be able to run through Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Now I'm lucky if I can get past Class Joe. So I think that's just a generational thing. And the other thing that I think is generational is that idea of latching on to a superstar or a wrestler that you see that maybe isn't conventionally a popular one. We all laugh when you say, oh, my kid's favorite wrestler is Curtis Hughes. Despite the fact that he wasn't like a bonehead or anything like that, but he just wasn't a main guy. Like you're not selling out Mr. Hughes t-shirts and posters on the house show loop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But everybody has those growing up. Everybody's got a story of an unconventional favorite, of somebody that they saw and immediately clicked with, even if everybody else in their friend group and today online would be like, what is wrong with you? That person is terrible. So I thought it would be fun to kind of go back and try to put ourselves in the mindset of your young son and talk about some of the wrestlers that when we were growing up were the coolest wrestlers ever, even if nobody else thought so.
Well, I think I'll like the person I'm about to bring up is hailed as a great. He really is now, or well, even back then. But we grew up in an age where you were a Hulkamaniac or you were a warrior. You know what I mean?
I do. There was literally a feud between me and a neighbor kid about who was better, Hulk Hogan or the Ultimate Warrior. So,
well, what you weren't was Rowdy. My favorite wrestler as a child was always was a tie between Roddy Piper and Jake the Snake Roberts. When every other kid, was either Hulk Hogan or let's throw Macho in there as well. No one was going, especially not the heels, but they weren't going for Roddy and Jake. And I mean, Jake wasn't even other than WrestleMania 1, Roddy and Jake weren't ever in the main event of WrestleMania and stuff like that. They were the guys. It was cool to like the man, the warrior, Macho, Hogan. It wasn't cool to like those mid card guys. But that was always me, even when we got to the early 90s and everybody really started to gravitate to Brett. I was a no Hart guy. Right from WrestleMania 10, I was a no Hart guy. And it's not that I think that I was always trying to go for the underdog or whatever. These are just the guys I gravitated to. And that goes right to, I mean, who doesn't love the Bushwhackers? They weren't winning tag titles every other month, but goddamn were they fun.
All right. Now I appreciate you coming in here, dipping your toe in the water of an unconventional favorite. But come on, let's get real here, Mike. Those are all guys that are still very popular. They still had action figures. We're still selling stuff. Let's dig into the depths of the garbage a little bit more. I'll give you a great example. Mm-hmm. When I was a kid in 1993, the guy that I wanted to be the WWF champion more than anybody was Mr. Shaka Bra himself, Kona Crush. Now there you go. Just for you listeners,
I get that.
I want you to know Anthony Darko has stopped listening to this podcast right now. And so did everybody. All of my friends, if all of my friends were listening to this podcast back in 1993, they would be shutting it off right now too, because Kona Crush was not cool, but he was cool to me, brah.
I'm with you. I remember thinking Kona Crush was going to be a massive, massive star.
I mean, he was huge. He had the long flowing hair. Look at those bright colored purple and yellow trunks, man. And like that, and let's be honest, I'm not even going to lie and tell you that theme music did not influence me as a kid, because man, that awesome guitar riff coming down to the ring. Darko is throwing his laptop right now. He hates me for saying that, but I love that theme song. This whole presentation was just screamed cool, man. He cut promos in a junkyard. He was awesome.
Okay, I've got one for you too, for all the exact same reasons, where I was a huge fan when you got to see him on Canadian Superstars on Saturday morning, because that's probably the only place you saw him. But I was a huge fan of Man Mountain Rock.
Oh, man. Okay. See, now we're getting somewhere. Now this is what I came here for.
All right.
Okay. Man Mountain Rock. Okay. So why Man Mountain Rock, man? What was the appeal?
First of all, I was just getting into rock music at the time. I was getting into heavier music. I grew up listening to nothing but like the heaviest thing I listened to was Bon Jovi. So I was starting to get more into like
man.
This is around the time that I discovered Aerosmith, actually, when Aerosmith was becoming one of my favorite bands, and I'm getting more into the wild side of rock.
Sure.
And then this guy comes out. Number one, he's huge. So,
Yes.
you know, that makes me want to watch him wrestle. He's a big guy. He can beat people up. But he's got the long hair, the beard, and then to top it all off, he's got that WWF logo guitar, which I look back now going, that thing is hideous. But when I'm whatever I was, 12 years old, I guess, that was the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. That was so cool. I thought that Mountain Rock, the fact that he didn't become anything bigger was heartbreaking to me.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I know for a fact that you've got a tag team in your pocket that you want to talk about, and I got one that I want to talk about, and they're both from kind of around that same era. So go ahead, you can start with yours because you've told me what it is, and I want to hear your explanation on this one because this is a doozy.
I don't know if mine had more than 5 matches in their career, but when they first hit the scene, and I'm not joking. I'm not just being like, I'm going to pick these guys because it's funny. I honestly thought these guys were going to be huge when the first time I saw Techno Team 2000.
Man, now there is a sentence that no one has uttered on a podcast until this very moment. Congratulations.
They lasted a number of weeks. And at this time, like, I'm not smartened up, right? I didn't realize that Eric was Bill Watts' son. I didn't know any of that stuff. I didn't know the politics. I didn't know the history. I didn't know. All I knew is these guys came out in these weird silver outfits. For all I know, they're from the future. They look like they could be from the future.
That's how they marketed them.
I can't remember what year it was. It might have been 1995.
I don't know.
Give or take. But in 1995, 2000 still seemed really far away. Especially
if you're a kid.
Exactly. It's not like now where 2030 is tomorrow. But back then in 1995, 2000 was light years away. So, because let's be honest, I was an adult in 2000. I was not an adult in 1995. So 5 years at that stage.
As someone who knew you in year 2000, questionable.
All right.
That take is questionable.
Very fair. But during those formative years, 5 years is a long time. So to me, yeah, 2000 is the future. Like that, we could be walking around in tinfoil and doing whatever the hell they were doing. Yeah, it was weird. I look back now and I want to smack myself in the back of the head, but yeah, I love them. I wanted them to be huge. I thought they were going to be the next Rockers. That's exactly what I thought at the time.
Well, I feel like my team was definitely not the next version of anything. In fact, if anything, they were carbon copies of teams from the past. But you know who I'm talking about. I've heralded their praises for years.
I have an idea.
For me, there was no better tag team in the 90s than the Heavenly Bodies, man. Gigolo Jimmy Del Rey and Dr. Tom Pritchard were my boys, and I will die on this hill that the Steiner Brothers versus the Heavenly Bodies from SummerSlam 1993 is a tag team classic and does not get enough love. And part of that reason is because I love the Bodies, man. And again, like I think the reason I love them so much as a kid was because back then, as you said, us Canucks did not have a lot of exposure to any of the Ted Turner wrestling. So I never got a chance to enjoy the Midnight Express. I never got a chance to see a lot of the teams that those guys, the Heavenly Bodies, were kind of copying, right? I certainly didn't get Smoky Mountain Wrestling. So I think that was kind of my first introduction to that style of tag team in the confines of the World Wrestling Federation. So I think that's why they appealed to me, just because, well, they were copying some of the best, right?
100%. I'm down with that. That's not the team I thought you were going to pick, to be perfectly honest. I thought we were about to talk about the Beverly Brothers.
No. They were never cool to anybody. Come on.
But the Heavenly Bodies, I get it. I really do. I get it. Tom Pritchard's mom thinks he's cool, so
fair. Hey man, I just wanted to quickly ask if there was anybody like in the modern context that, or at least a little something from outside of our childhoods that ever popped up and you were like, that guy's it, he's gonna be a star, and nobody agreed with you, and maybe it didn't quite work out that way either.
I mean, probably. I depends what you call childhood. I think back to my teenage years. I was a massive fan of Brian Pillman.
Sure.
I truly thought Pillman was going to be like it.
I think a lot of people did. I think a lot of people did, though. Okay, I'll give you another example using my own recollections here. I was nuts about Pirate Paul Burchill in 2007. I thought that guy had money. I thought he had doubloons written all over him. And yes, I know that back in the day when that character came out, it was out of date back then. I understand that. But I loved his presentation. I love the way he swung in on the big rope. He had the Pirates of the Caribbean style theme music. And Paul Burchill, no slouch in the ring either. Not bad. Yeah. But let's be honest, it was never going to get over. But I loved him despite the fact it's like a cursed love. You know what I mean? It's a love that can never be. A love of a superstar that you know is never going to get over.
I don't remember the timeline there. Was Paul Burchill before or after Dodgeball?
You know what? I think it would have been after.
So you think that character is most likely inspired by Alan Tudyk's character?
No, I think Vince McMahon got around to watching Pirates of the Caribbean 3 years late, and we should have a character like that.
That's so funny because I see more Dodgeball than I see anything else.
That is a wild take, and I'm so glad that you did it here on Talk Solid Wrestling. Thank you for that. Okay, man, like anybody else that you can think of that like you really enjoyed watching and then, was like, you know what, maybe in hindsight was not the best choice for my favorite.
Yes and no. Okay. Because the person I'm about to mention ended up being a massive star.
Okay.
But at the time when I said he's going to be a star, nobody believed me for good reason.
And there's the bell. We're going to leave it on a cliffhanger, believe it or not.
Ooh.
So I'm actually going to give you guys a call to action early. Tell us in the comments who was Mike talking about? And maybe next time Mike's on, we'll circle back to it. Or we'll forget completely, and this will be a mystery, like why Paul Burchill never became WWE champion. Mike, thanks so much for coming on Talk Solid Wrestling, man. I'm really sorry we couldn't finish today, but when the bell goes, that's it. The time limit draw hits. You gotta pack it up, man. I'm really sorry about that. So I guess
the reason to come back.
Rematch. All right, sounds good, my man. Thanks so much for coming on the show, Mike. Everybody, again, I will push it. Check out Count It Out with Mike and Tyler. Everywhere you can listen to great podcasts, and of course on YouTube as well. Remember to like and subscribe their channel. All right. Thanks, Mike. Always appreciate you, brother. Love you, and keep educating that kid of yours. You're doing a good job. All right. Thanks to Mike Walsh, and thanks to you for listening to us talk about Crush and Techno Team 2000 and a mystery guy. If you want to take a guess as to who Mike was talking about in the closing moments of our episode, I would love it for you to leave a comment telling me who you think this person might have been, whether it's on YouTube or on Spotify or iTunes, wherever you can leave a comment about this episode. Please do that. It helps the algorithm. It helps this podcast to be more successful. So I really appreciate that. If you are watching this on YouTube, I'd really like it for you to like and subscribe so you know when new episodes are coming out. That would be great as well. And of course, there's other ways you can support this show. That's by supporting Rock Solid Wrestling. This is the official podcast of Rock Solid Wrestling. And one of the best ways to do that is to check out rocksolidfanclub.ca. Just a few dollars a month, and you get unlimited access to our on-demand library with 0 commercials. You can watch it anytime on demand. It's a great service. And you want to talk about unconventional. There's a lot of unconventional characters on those episodes, so go and watch it just for the fun of it all. I would really appreciate that. Thank you so much for watching. We got another one lined up for you, so make sure that you come back and keep watching the episodes. Keep this thing growing, share it with everybody. Big thanks again to Mike Walsh, our guest. Big thanks to Danny, our producer at Pulse Hook Audio, and thanks to you for joining us on another episode of Talk Solid Wrestling. We'll see you next time.